Hi, welcome to the Mariposa Hub, where we have begun on a mental health series, and we are talking about overcoming suicidal thoughts. This is part 2. Part 1, we talked why we need to talk about it, what it is, why we need to talk about it, what causes people not to talk about it, and I shared my bit of my story struggling with suicidal thoughts. And now in this part, we are going to talk about the symptoms of suicidal thoughts. The symptoms of suicidal thoughts, you normally have been experiencing a lot of pain, hopelessness, and feeling alone, and not wanting to see another day. You don't see hope for tomorrow, so you are in that hopelessness. Then you start withdrawing from people. Some people try to be hyperactive, but the most common is withdrawing and not doing the things that used to interest you. If someone is drinking, most of the time they start drinking, they increase their drinking and such kind of thing, like drinking alcohol. Then death starts looking lucrative. You looks like a good thing, like the best thing that ever happened. Yes. And then you feel people are better without you. The world is better without you. You're not adding any value to this world, to this earth. So you want to end it. Yes. And then normal items of use, they change. Your sight, your thinking starts changing. You start seeing them as tools of death. It's a knife of cutting vegetables. You start seeing it, the way it can stab you. If it's you walk, you see sanitizers in the buildings, you start thinking of sanitizing, killing yourself. A rope for tying a goat at home, you start seeing it for you to hang yourself. A lift for going up buildings, you start seeing it the way you can be. It can stop. It hangs, the lift hangs, and you die inside. So things start changing, your idea starts changing. You're in water, a tank of water, of drinking water in the house. You start imagining the way you can drown yourself inside. So your outlook gets twisted. You start seeing things for possible death. Then some people start leaving cues of death. They say, some can post on Facebook or on their social media platforms. Others say they are cleaning up so that when people come for their funeral service, the house will be clean. So some of them have those things, like when they come for matanga, the comforting services, people will find, so they start cleaning and they're not normally like that. They start doing, yes. Others, they post those posting cues. Others, for Christians, they Christianize it. Like Paul, they'll say something like to be present, to be outside. That verse, I'm forgetting it, is to be present with the Lord. To be absent. Yes, to be absent in the body is to be present with the Lord. Not that verse, everyone's saying that one is suicidal, but if someone starts making those statements and it's not their norm, you can start questioning, are you engaged a bit with that person? So some of them Christianize, challenge sometimes Christians to kona shida kidogo. We Christianize some things instead of just going out to seek help. And then also the part of being lucrative, we start seeing the accessories for mortuary, they start looking also lucrative, like coffins. You start wondering, wow, that's a beautiful one, I should say, oh, that color, look at that gold, look at that white, look at that pink coffin. It's lucrative. You say, wow. say, hey, that person in that coffin must be feeling very nice. That, or you go to maybe you have a relative or a colleague at work, you go to their funeral. Nowadays they do makeup for the deceased person. So you say, wow, the makeup of people who are alive does not look. You start admiring makeup of the deceased people and such kind of things. It messes up with your mind. It messes up with your mind totally. Yeah. So if you see someone speaking like that, actually, if the close niche start or saying fires or those things, you start posting, just start probing someone. They could be going through the dark season. Yes. And also the other thing, like now, like the COVID time, people are dying, people are mourning. For you now, you find, wow, that's a good opportunity to die. If COVID should just get me, it will be a good thing. Or now in this case of the Ukraine war and the Russian war, like, wow, I should have been there, so that when they shoot or they send those bombs, I should be in that building. It could be a good way of ending it. So as people now are saying, they are praying for Ukraine, negotiations would continue and all that. For you now, you're saying, you think they're the opposite. Like how, there's a way I could get myself in that war, so that when they bomb, I just bomb, and once I finished, you see. So you get twisted. Yeah, so those are some of the symptoms when people are getting. And some of the causes of suicidal thoughts, they can be relationship struggles like family wrangles, divorce, marital affairs, and breakups. If you're not married now, you're in a relationship, you break up, it can cause those it can lead to depression and now maybe suicidal thoughts and now wanting to do it. It can also be death of a loved one, or desertion, loss of a loved one through maybe death, or just he left, separation, he went. So that can really weigh down on a person. Poor conflict management. You don't know how to handle conflict, especially in a loved one or a family, people you care about. So when there's conflict and you are not equipped with conflict management skills, nowadays we don't know how. We withdraw, we avoid, and now we start carrying it like, maybe it's my fault. So you take it inside, and now you start going down. Then job losses, joblessness. You can be in a job, you're not getting a job, or you have a job, then you lose it, or lack of job satisfaction. This actually happens mostly with professionals. They're in jobs, but they're not satisfied, they're not fulfilled, so it's a struggle to show up at work every day. So it starts getting inside and weighing them down, and then it's a whole cycle. Then academic failures or pressures for students, for young people in colleges. It's a struggle. Academics now even the Form 4s, the Class 8s are doing exams. When they're finished, the way the emphasis that your grade is everything. Now if you don't pass, if you don't go to the national schools, you're a failure, you are what. So all those brandings, labels, make someone to really go down. We have some candidates, they finish exam and they commit suicide because they feel that now their life is worthless because they failed academically. Then legal difficulties. If people have cases in court, they have taken so long, it weighs them down, it weighs the family down, and that's a challenge. Then there are financial difficulties and hard economic times. Now and then you don't have money, or business is not working. So now we have the lower food prices tag. so many expenses, and the family is looking up to you. You're the breadwinner of your family, and everyone is looking at you. You have bills to pay, contributions to make, so many committees, and it's just, yeah, you're a single mother, or you're a child yourself. Maybe your parents left you, or God took them, they died, and so you're facing it rough. And or even your financial you have more months than the finances. The number of days for you to finish the end month is so much, and your salary is already finished, so it can weigh someone down. Then there's bullying and shaming. People are bullied different ways, whether from young, old. You're shamed for how you look, how you behave, and that one can really put a lot of scars on someone, and they live long with it, and that's a challenge. Then there's crisis. There's identity crisis, career crisis, spiritual crisis, and just generally life crisis. I would imagine like that. The person at 76 who committed suicide, probably it could be a life crisis. You don't know who you are in matters of identity. If it's spiritual crisis, your relationship with God is just messed up. You don't know, is there a God? Does he care? Is he with us? Why is he allowing so many things to happen to me? There's a career crisis. Whatever you want and whatever you are having is not balancing, so a lot of confusion. Your life is not making sense, so a lot of crisis. So that one can be a contributing factor. Then previous suicide attempts can now make you, some people now, if they don't succeed, they don't see it like God's way of rescuing them and giving them an opportunity to live again, to flourish again, to giving them a new slate. They take it on the negative and say, this time around I need to succeed at it. So when God allows you to live, it means he has an agenda with your life. He's not done with you yet. Despite the hassle, he wants to create a message out of the mess. He wants to create hope out of the hopeless situation that you're going through. Yes, then maybe if it's a historical challenge in your family, you can need to check about the historical issues around your family. Maybe they are following up, so you need to ask around, so that now you also need to deal with them. If there are root causes, you need to check out. Then there's alcoholism and substance abuse. You need to check on that one, and substance abuse. Then there's undetected or detected mental health conditions, so that depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, the different mental health conditions, anxieties and panic attacks. You can have the suicidal thoughts before the attempted suicide, or even when you know it's hard for you to handle the diagnosis. It can also take you on a downward spiral. Then there's poor adaptation to college environment for the students. And then there's abuse and neglect, or harassment, sexual harassment by bosses, by people, so including rape, domestic violence, incest, the sexual issues, those harassments, and abuse, emotional neglect with parents. I think I talked about the CEN, childhood emotional neglect. All of that, those are some of the examples that lead to there are some of the causes that breed matters of suicidal thoughts. And I pray that God will give you the grace to be able to identify. I've given a long list so that someone will be able to identify and see how they're going to get strength and work on them and be able to overcome. Yes. First aid strategies that one can engage in when they are in the heat of the moment, when you're facing now you want to execute. Things are really heavy, and now you're really tempted to do it. How do you go about it? So the one is, number self is to remove yourself from danger. It's a struggle you'll face, but it's important that you remove yourself from danger. When you're seeing things that are looking like possible tools for use to end your life, you remove them. If it's a knife, you start seeing it's a possible tool, the rope, or different items, the poison. Remove yourself from danger before, of course, the thoughts will start coming. So before you start executing, because it's a downward spiral, there's a place where you'll still have, before you lose your strength now to fight on, you can push yourself until now you get out of that environment where those things are there. It's even getting outside of the house so that you breathe, you see people, even they are walking outside. It helps to change your perspective. Then the other one is to do a breathing exercise. I was given this one when I was doing one of the counseling sessions with another lady before the one I got. The current counselor I got, there's another one who I had. She was very nice. So you slow your breathing, because at that time, like, your system is charged, it's tense. So you take breath in, you take a deep breath, like, and then you count either like 1 to 20, 1 to 10, 20, till it's very deep. Then now you breathe slowly, you breathe out, and then now you repeat. So you slow your breathing down. You take in, you do that breathing exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4. In and out. Inhale and exhale. It may look simple, but it does a lot of magic for you. And it slows down the breathing. It helps brains with the blood circulation, your brain getting more oxygen and all that. And really, it's very helpful. For me, it has really helped. So that breathing in and out, deep breath, then out, it's therapeutic for you. Then the other one is refocusing, trying to change your mind. Like, if it's something, you focus on it. Like, if it's that flower, you say it's green, it's white, try to look at it and try to describe it. If it's that wall hanging, you say this, the colors that are there, the black, the nails, the what, the thing that are holding those things together, the circle, you describe it. So that one, it helps to refocus your mind and ensuring that your muscles are relaxed. You get yourself to be more relaxed. So I'm using a bit of notes because I had written a bit. Then there's reaching out. Even beforehand, if you've seen this thing, there's a bit of tendencies for it to come. You get your list of 911, I call them your 911 contacts, friends or family members. But some people, the family is still, you don't have a good rapport with your family, but you can have a few friends, 1 or 2, or maybe if you have not gotten a therapist, but you have those friends. Have more than one, because maybe one will have, maybe if one is held up, the other person can come in to just hear you out and talk to you, and you give them permission to speak into your life at that point. If you have a counselor, you can also call them. They're reaching out. You can call your counselor so that they are able to assist you and work with you in that journey. Part of your 911 numbers also can include, if you have begun a therapy, you can call them. And when they are not available, there's the temptation of now taking it on you, like, now they don't care about me, they hate me, look at the way they are not even picking my calls, who told them to be in a meeting at this time that I need them. So avoid the temptation of taking it personal, that your best friend is held up and can't pick your call, because that one again works against you and makes you to go down into the hall. Then you can also call a hotline. There's some organizations which have a suicide prevention. They have a psychologist on call, and these ones I was saying that there's help available. They have given themselves to help for prevention, so you can give them a call so that you call them. So there's Befrienders Kenya, and there's an organization that assists. Then there's Niskize. There's Niskize, which is a 24-hour call center for persons with mental health. You just call and speak out, even if not just mental, even if you're going through a lot of trouble and you think, it's taking me down. There's that Niskize. I'll put their numbers on the description box so that you find help. Then there's Emergency Medicine Kenya. Emergency Medicine Kenya also assists to call, and a few others. I'll be able to put them in the description box. And then there are some churches which are now opening up to have counseling sessions, but maybe they don't have the 24-hour call center. But I think it's an initiative that churches can embrace. If they have psychologists on set, I think there are more psychologists who are volunteering to offer their services through the church. So if they have, there are those ones who do the 8 to 5 churches which have, like, think Deliverance Church where I go to currently, they have the free counseling services and the normal working hours 8 to 5. So you can engage, and it depends also in your church. We have some pastors also who have done counseling. They can be of help. You can call them and engage them. And if things are not going okay, you in that you want to harm yourself, get yourself out of danger and reach out. So I think also probably more churches are going in this direction of supporting their members through mental health discussions and struggles. So I think with time maybe we'll have those call centers with psychologists on set to assist people in that regard. Yes, then the next first aid tip is to remind yourself that recovery is possible, because at that moment the suicidal thoughts are really telling you that you can't recover, this is the end, as in you can't make it another day, and you're feeling so much pain, and so you're like, I can't. No, you say, remind yourself that you can, and you will do it. You'll go past. And say the verse that says, is it sadness? No, mourning or sorrow. Yeah, sorrow may last for the night, but joy comes in the morning. So the night might be heavy. It's the sorrows, the anguish are going on for the night, but a dawn is coming. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, then engage in recovery activities. You can have them. You start thinking about them beforehand, your recovery or your first aid activities that you can handle, and you engage them when you're there. So it can be like taking a walk outside. Sometimes it's even hard, but because your energy levels will be going down, they go down with time. So before your energy level, you start noticing that your energy levels are going down, you start engaging your first aid activity. So you can take a walk. The nature does a lot of magic. The fresh air, the sunlight, that environment. Like for me, environment does well for me. When I go outside, it helps. So you can try that one. You can try relaxing music or instrumental. They say music's the language of the soul. So try some relaxing and refreshing music. You can listen to some affirmations, positive words, to just affirm yourself. Maybe it's because you were discouraged, someone spoke bad things, that's why you're going in the downward spiral. So affirmations, and that changing of the environment I have mentioned. Moving from, if you're in the house, getting outside. If you're in a place where things are closed, you don't want to open the window. Changing the environment assists in change in decluttering your mind, and then basking in the sun, as I mentioned, then giving yourself a positive talk. That's another tip, giving yourself the positive talk, self-talk, because sometimes now if your first aid numbers contacts are held up, so you need to start speaking to yourself, reminding yourself that one now needs an extra mile, because at that particular moment your strength is failing. So now saying that it will be okay, even if that's the only thing that you can tell yourself, that it will be okay. Now here you'll be okay. If it's Jane, you'll be okay. If it's John, you'll be okay. Like that. If that's the only thing you can tell yourself, do it, because at that moment maybe the pain is heavy and like there's light at the end of the tunnel, reminding yourself, by the time I get to the next hour, it will have subsided, the cloud will have lifted. Just telling that one to yourself, you'll be able to push through. The next tip is to pray. The last but not least is to pray and asking God for help. At that hour, the only thing maybe you can't just think, God help, send help, because as in your alternatives are hard. Even to do the next thing may be hard, but God has his own way of sending help. I gave it from my examples. In the many examples, it's God who sent help. He sent help and came through when I needed him. Because when you're in that hour, it's a life and death moment. You're fighting for your life, and God is the author of life, and so when we invite him, he can come through and give you grace and pour his life on us, so that we able to see the next moment, the next day, the next minute, the next day. Yes, so I pray that God will be able to give you the strength to get those tips. If the other tips people can share, if someone you've gone through that and you have some other tips, you can share them so that we assist each other. Yes, and then now for long term, how to assist yourself in a more for a longer period. So it's to believe that recovery is possible. There are better days ahead. Reminding yourself that one, because maybe for the moment you may feel there's no hope for the future. So believe that there are better days ahead. Then you learn the triggers and the ways to handle them. The things that trigger those episodes. There are things, if you monitor yourself, if you find maybe if this person, after I've talked to this person, I experienced this. If it's this time, if maybe it's in a week, maybe this time of the week is when this thing comes, or if it's this time of the month, this thing is when it comes. Observe the patterns so that you're able to handle them whenever they come. You are better equipped when you have observed the patterns. Then learn to manage the suicide moment. Those tips, the first 8 tips, you see how to be able to incorporate them when you are in the heat of the moment. Then give yourself the positive self-talk and not listening to the episode. When those words, negative words, the discouraging voices come, you learn to counter it with a positive message. Even if you don't have yours, you can listen to positive talk, so that now it also builds your strength to give yourself the positive talk. Then develop skills to fight those low moments when they come, such that in your eating habits, your sleeping habits, your exercising habits, relaxing habits, self-awareness, handling self-awareness. So start creating more stable or consistent practices that will assist you in your journey so that to avoid those things, so that it doesn't come back, and even if it comes, it is mild, or the severity goes down with time, so that until you'll be able to overcome it. So when you build those patterns, behavior patterns around your eating, around your sleeping habits, you build more stability in how to deal with it. Then seek therapy to address the root issues. There could be root issues that are contributing to this. So if it's a loss, you haven't grieved the loss, it's a traumatic experience, so you can get therapy. Of course, there's a cost implication if you're able to, but if you haven't, you can get those free toll lines, helplines, or the those ones who are available, the channels online, you can listen. But if you have the opportunity, which is recommended, because your health comes first, because these are the things of looking for. If you're healthier, you become more effective to those around you than when it's the other way around. Yeah, so if you're able to seek therapy, counseling services, engage those services, and there are more institutions trying to offer these services, so you get those ones to assist you. Then don't allow shame to close the door for you, because there's a shame that I've gone for therapy, or this happened to me, then now you want to hide it. So the shame can be like a plague on you. So not to let it weigh you down, because the strength, it's like the Swahili saying which says kuuliza si ujinga. You see, the person who has a question in class and they don't ask, they go back with the same question. But if the person who asks out might be saying, why are they asking that question, they're disturbing, but actually they have benefited more the person who came out than the person who decided to pretend that all is okay, yet it's not okay. So allow yourself to overcome the shame, that the perceived or actual shame, because you have found the help that you're looking, because you're the first person, you're the first guardian of yourself. You're the first person to take care of yourself. If you don't begin to take care of yourself, no other person will know how to take care of you. So you're the first person to know how to take care of yourself, and seeking help is one of the ways of looking for help. Yes, and it's normal. It happens. It's like someone who is going through blood pressure or diabetes or something like that. It's a condition that anyone can face it. Yes, so let it not weigh you down, just to seek the assistance. Then not to let also the suicidal thoughts to sink in, and the feedback it is giving you, because once it starts getting in, it starts now. It's almost like formatting your way of operation. So it's try your best to start shielding yourself, putting a guard over yourself, and having those, if it's affirmations, if it's things to counter those negative statements. If it tells you you're worthless, you say I am precious. If it tells you you can't make it, tell I can make it. Such kind, so that then you are able to overcome. Then involving God, as we've mentioned, He's the author of life. Prayer and having a spiritual connection, that one really it has a way of building us, when there's that you're not alone, that God is on your side and He is there with you. Building that relationship with God and having that walk with Him, when you're high, when you're low, when you're medium, He's able to walk with you. And then now there's the support system. Getting a support system. The support system can be either in your church or workplace or a group of friends. because our friendships normally is affected, and so it's important that we get a support system, so that now you can talk about these things, you can share, you can hang out, even if it's not those serious things, you can just have a good time. Those are really helpful. Have those friends that you can just do life with, 1 or 2 or 3 depending. Others are better at making friends, the better. But those friends who they are not just your phone, they're not just in your phone book, you talk, but in time of crisis you actually look at that phone book, you realize you don't have anyone you can call. But have those, even if there are those few, but they are true, like they go out of their way, they are loyal friends or covenant friends, as someone was sharing, like the way Jonathan, the son of King Saul, was to King David. They were like, they were buddies, those were like, they were covenant friends, that Jonathan will be able to even allow David, because he saw that God was with him and God wanted him to be the king. He gave up his role of the prince, allowed him to take the kingship. Not that now that we are saying you'll give up everything, but he even had to struggle with the dad to keep him safe. So those friends that you can go out of the way for each other. And David coming through with the son of Jonathan, Mephibosheth, and bringing him back to the palace. You see, even when he was gone, even when Jonathan had died, David will still remember the friendship that he had with Jonathan and offer kindness to his generation. So those are the friends you want to get to be in your support system, to be in your circle, to work with you in this journey. They are hard to find, they are rare, but you can begin being one of them, and with time God will continue to connect you with such. Then how can you, as an individual, as a friend, help someone in when they are going through that phase? You take like maybe your friend, you have seen them on the status, you have seen on they've even told you that this is what they're planning. So actually take the cues. The first thing is to take the cues seriously. Those signals is to take them seriously. Most of the time we just say just he talks a lot, he doesn't, she or he, he just talks like that. But take those cues seriously. Probe. Go, as in, take them as just the symptoms, like the face, and now go behind the scenes. So because if the challenge is when people now post and say these things, we think they're joking, yet actually maybe someone is actually planning something. So let's take the cues and the signals seriously, so that we're able to act. Then now offer a listening ear. Someone wants to release the pressure, the anguish they're going through. So listening to them. Listening is important. Then being there, letting them know that you're there with them in that season. Being available. You can actually even visit them and just tell them, allow them to know that you're there with them, that you are working with them. Sometimes maybe it may be far, but even a call, allowing them, and then as you try to make way to where they are, then you can also help them to get them to safety. Like we had said, one of the first aid is to remove yourself. The person now going through is to remove themselves from the dangerous environment where they are seeing things, possible items to harm themselves. For them is to try themselves to remove themselves from that harmful environment, but sometimes they may not have the strength to do that. So that's where you come in. When now they have called you, you can go there and assist to bring them out. You can say, let's go for a walk outside. and that one assists to take them out of that environment. So help them to get them to safety. If they have not, if they're still at the planning stage and it's just in their minds, it's really challenging them. Then encourage them to see a doctor or a therapist if they have the alternatives, or to talk out. If some of them maybe are afraid, they don't want to share it out, so you can encourage them to talk about. If you're the closest, because sometimes maybe they only have one person who they can confide in, so you, as the one who they gave you the privilege to confide in their struggle and what they are going through, they trust you that much. So maybe you don't feel equipped enough to handle some of the deeper things they are going through. You can refer them to a more professional help that you may know. Some of them, as I mentioned, some churches have, more churches are putting a counseling department to assist. Yeah, so that's the closest. As you see now, these others, like we have a counseling association, you can engage that one as they seek for therapy. Yes. So that's the other channel. Then help them in building their support system. Some of them don't know. Yes, they know they need a support system, they need friends to keep close, but they don't know how to. So if you are the one who they have confided in, you can assist. You can introduce them to the quality friends, maybe few, the ones that you know that are helpful, that they can do life together, healthy options. You can introduce them so that maybe they can connect with 2 or 3 more people there, that they are going to be able to be assisted and enrich each other's life together. So that's the other alternative, the other tip. Then you can be, and also yourself, you build yourself to be that support system. Then you can try to be approachable and empathetic. Not like, whoa, you look so terrible, as in, hey, that face, indeed you look so discouraged, you're beaten, hey, I don't think life will work for you. So you're adding salt to injury. But empathetic is, yes, you are with them in the journey, but you are aiming that you will not leave them there. You're going to hold their hand up to come out of the situation. And those signs, the symptoms you see your friend exhibiting, some of them, you can start noticing and probe further. Ensure to probe. When someone posts something and it's suggestive, or some maybe may look hyperactive, some, actually for sanguines, they are social beings, so it's hard for you to notice, but there's a level of activity which they may engage in that you may notice it's not the normal way that they are, so you can probe further. So let's build that nature of probing. Well, some people may feel it's intruding in their space, but if someone has trusted in you enough to confide you in some things, probe further, and let's take the cues seriously, those signals, and offer a hand. So I hope those are the few tips to assist someone who is going through that, and for the person going through it, you'll overcome. The world is better with you inside, not you outside. So you can make it, and God is on your side. Despite the challenge, there's light at the end of the tunnel. The sorrows may last for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I pray that God will shorten the dark season, so that now the morning comes early. Yes, together we can end suicide. Together we can help each other, that people don't commit suicide. Together we can assist each other in the recovery journey. For people going through depression and other mental health conditions, so that they are able to recover from the suicide struggle and suicidal thoughts, yes, let's say no to suicide. We say no to suicide, we say yes to life. 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 We can live again. We can live and see the goodness of God and do all that God wants us to do and cause the impact that He has for us in this generation and generation to come. Yes, thank you so much. I hope you had a nice moment to learn and put to practice. Yes, victory is on your side. Victory is on your side. You can do it. You can make it. Push on, press on. You will see the other day. You will see tomorrow. By God's grace, by God's strength, you will see the next moment after this one. Yes, you can do it. See you in the next video. That brings us to the end of our first topic under this series. We hope that we will engage more and will assist each other. Thank you and bye-bye.